Now let's first look at the sensor block. What is in there and how it works. And our sensor block was this. It was that MQTT client that it's based for this Arduino with the I/O. What the sensor block is doing, it is measuring the temperature and the voltage. These are the values from our sensors to our user interface. And for the output device, we did have that LED. We could control the brightness of the LED with this PWM system. It's the PWM signal from the Arduino that is controlling the LED. And for the local measured value, we are using this small LCD display. And the protocol that we are using to carry the information is the MQTT. This sensor block is sending the measured value to the MQTT broker, and that broker is located in the Raspberry Pi. It's that broker is the Mosquito server in Raspberry Pi. And on the other direction, our sensor block will receive MQTT messages from the MQTT broker. It's that brightness control from the broker side that we are receiving. And the connection to the system or to internet, the Ethernet switch is this RG45. It's the cable system, and the system is based for IP packets sent to Raspberry Pi. The MQTT is using this TCP/IP protocol. So the main protocol is MQTT, and that is using the TCP/IP protocol from the lower level. In our exercise here, we are using this potentiometer to generate the voltages from 0 to 5 volt. And as said earlier, you could use some of your own sensors if you would like to replace the potentiometer with that. But the potentiometer is quite simple device to make these simulated voltages. And for the temperature, we are using this MLX 9061 sensor, which is the bus control. There are two line bus between the Arduino and the sensor. And for the output device, we are using this LED and LCD display, and also what you could use this USB serial monitor from your PC when you are testing your program. It's really good for this debugging purposes, this serial monitor. And Ethernet connector was this wired Ethernet, and it's based for that W5100 Ethernet card or that chip. Whatever is your Arduino board, it probably will have this Ethernet chip, and then it is working with this application software or reference software that we are using here in this exercise. And what kind of software libraries we are needed for the Arduino? If we first look this voltage measuring system, which is measuring the voltage, so we are using the basic library function. It's that analog read function that you could use. You could also use your own AD converter reading routine that we were trying earlier, but in this exercise you could use this or your own one. And for that temperature sensors, you will need this Adafruit MLX libraries. And for the LCD, we are using this standard LCD library that is coming with the Arduino basic setup. And for Ethernet communication, we are using this Arduino's basic Ethernet library. And for the MQTT, we are using this PubSub client library. These are the most common one in Arduino environment. And you could load these in the from the GitHub in the same way as some other libraries. So these are available there. Here is the flow diagram of our software in the sensor side. Of course, first we have to initialize our hardware components, LCD, Ethernet, input-output pins, and our serial USB bus. That's normal installation system that we have been using also earlier. The next functionality is that when initialization is done, we are fetching the IP number. So then the Arduino will get the IP number, and that IP number is of course needed for this IP-based communication. And when we will have an IP number, then we could connect. Then we can connect to the MQTT broker. That broker is the Mosquito server in Raspberry, and this is the setup section. And when the setup is done, in the loop section there's quite simple system. First we read the temperature. First we read the value, the temperature value and voltage value, and we are printing those values to our local display and also sending those to serial bus. And then we will send those values to MQTT broker, and we stay in a small delay to wait for a while and then start this loop again. So this is quite simple loop that we are doing: reading, printing, sending, waiting, and so on. And this is how our sensors are working and sending data to that broker. And the other direction functionalities here, we are using so-called callbacks. It means that when we will get the message from the broker, MQTT broker, then our program will start to service this callback program, callback function. And first, when we will receive the message, we will print the message to LC, to local display, and the serial bus. And then we start to digging out that what information there is in our message. We check that there is quite simple protocol in this incoming message. It means that if there is PW, it means that the next numbers are the brightness of the LED. So we will check out that if the first letters, if they are this PW, and if those are those letters, then we will pick up next characters from the message and build integer number of those ASCII characters. And then when we will have this brightness value calculated, we will send the brightness value to LED. So we are controlling the PWM logic there, and that defines the brightness of the LED. and then we will print these values also to LCD display and to serial bus. And when this is done, we will return from the function to waiting for the next message.